Alright, I had some technical difficulties. This is my second part of 1862 late May. Um, I was talking about him taking Memphis. I don't know if he's going to do that. At the end of the day, I think where I'm going to put my troops are, I'm going to put a corps here and a corps here in Fort Henry. Paducah might just be obvious. I'm trying to kind of trick him a little bit. Um, I'm thinking, because if you remember last game when Grant got killed, I think I had messed up my move somehow, but either way, like he had pushed in his forces in these two areas right here. So he probably might be thinking that I'm going to try to do the same thing. So he may just try to slip around and land right here, or come over here. He could go to Dover. That's another place I'm not defending. He could just go up the river here and just land on Bowling Green. I don't think he's going to do that. He probably thinks that I'm going to want to get Bowling Green, which I do want to get Bowling Green. So I think what I'm going to do is rail one of these, little these sorry divisions I have down here, and that way next turn I'll take Bowling Green with that, and then I'm going to hold two divisions here and two divisions in Nashville. That way they can kind of support each other in these two areas, and they can support each other in these two areas. That could be a bad idea, but like I said, there's really nothing I can do. I don't think he's going to land here because I put him in the swamp behind the river. Doesn't have a railroad next to him. He may just unload right here on Paducah, and then there's really nothing I can do about it. I would love to engage him somewhere. That way he'll take heavy casualties. But most likely that's not going to happen. But either way, I'll have these two here and these two here. That way it'll be hard for him to take Nashville, and it'll be hard to him to get a foothold here on one of these rail lines. And then, of course, depending on where he lands, I'll have to either hit him hard with everything I got, or just we'll see. I won't bore you with the units I'm building some artillery and other places. I was going to save my conscripts for Kentucky once it turns, which I think I will next turn, because if it turns next turn, that means the next turn both of us can make a move in Kentucky, and then I'll take it, and then I'll have 2 or 3 turns worth of conscripts that I can use to try to get as much as I can out here. There's still a lot of brigades I can do in Missouri, but it's just too risky right here. It takes 2 turns to build, and he can just come down and take it at any time. Then I just have wasted that money. I don't think, I'm pretty sure if it gets destroyed, you don't get your money back. So I don't have money to waste like that. I'm building another brigade here. Also put some money into the, where is it? The chits here, because the inevitable battle's coming. Put 2 in elite, 3 in line infantry, and 2 in cav. I don't think I put anything else there. So out in Virginia, I'm contemplating very much attacking McDowell here. He's got about a little over a 4,000 man force. I got 2,200 here. I'm moving that cavalry unit here because I'm going to try to make the illusion that I'm going to attack here at Harper's Ferry. So that's why I'm moving that division of cavalry over there. I know everything's jumbled up here. So if you go to Longstreet's Corps, I have almost 3,000. I'm moving, where is he? Holmes down to Virginia. And I'm moving a lot of units into Virginia. Like I took these guys out. I'm replacing them with a volunteer unit that was up here just to have something here, which wouldn't do anything probably if he put any kind of sizable force there. But in Richmond, I have all these units here, and I got 3 commanders. I got Holmes coming. I'm going to form another core. It's not going to be a core made up of exactly... I'm kind of a perfectionist, so I like my divisions and core to be just so. It's just not going to be made up probably the way I want it to, but I am going to have a full core here. I would imagine it'll have at least a power force of about 2,000. So I'll have that core ready. I'm going to rail him up here, probably attack McDowell at the same time I'm moving Jackson over to attack McDowell. And I think hopefully it'll work out around the same time once he's about here, because it's going to take him a few turns just to get on this rail line here. So hopefully they all attack in unison. I will have 3,000, 4, 5, 7,000 power forced at least coming to bear down on McDowell. And of course Lee's a far superior commander than the McDowell. And if that's all he's got, especially if he keeps this core here, I feel pretty confident that I'll knock him out. I don't see that he has anything else behind here. I see a bunch of leaders, but I don't see units. So I'm hoping me moving this over here, he may even reinforce a division over here from McDowell or for somewhere else, and then I'm moving to attack Alexandria. Now when I move, I haven't decided if I'm going to leave the cavalry unit here just to keep the entrenchment, because if I win this and push them out, you know, my left flank's in the air. I'm going to try to rail Jackson back. Might even add a division from one of the other corps from Longstreet in with him, and if he tries to make a move on that, I'll push him out as well, most likely. You know, so a lot to think about. The only thing is I don't think I was going to do it like after this turn. After this next turn's run, if Kentucky's open, you know, these guys will be ready to make that move. But the thing is I can't rail 2 core plus rail these guys where I want them to be. I just don't have the rail pull for it, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it next turn. We will see. We'll just see. I don't know if I have the rail moving. I don't think I will. I think 2 core is pretty much going to wipe out all that I have. And we'll just see what happens. I may have to wait till the next turn depending on what he does. Hopefully Kentucky stays neutral one more turn. That way I can attack there. And if I'm successful, he may feel threatened and pull some guys out west back over here to the east as quickly as he can. I don't know. We'll see. And we'll get this turn sent over, and we'll talk to you later.
Okay, so late May 1862, not a whole lot going on, so I'll keep this short. I do want to say, because of my unwillingness to use my various cards to increase my money, and then also spending money on industry, I haven't been able to surpass him in the number of forces I can put on the field per turn. What I mean by that is, if you look here, in Alexandria, for example, we have about 4,000 power force. He's got 35,900, almost 36. I don't know what he has under Jackson, but he's got 3 divisions. So chances are he has about the same amount of power that I do, since I have 3 divisions. And just a lot of that has to do with me not spending these cards here, which is fine, because we're up to 97 morale. We are 0% inflation. And we're also making more and more money per turn from our supply, or from our merchants down here. And then also from our industry that we built last year. That being said, I don't like the fact that we're in mid-62 and he still has Manassas, right? This has been a stalemate from the beginning with the exception of Harper's Ferry. I'm a very aggressive player, as Josh knows. That's why he's surprised I haven't really made too many moves just yet. And this is driving me nuts. So what I'm thinking of doing is next turn sending one of my brigs up here to Richmond to see what he has here. And if he doesn't have anything in Richmond, I think what I will do is I will take a core, so probably Kearney, and then I'll rejigger the commanders so I have the most offensive based commanders that are here. send them to DC, send transports and a fleet to DC, transport them down to Richmond, which should take 1 turn, and besiege Richmond. Now, what does that mean in the second and third order effects of things? He's going to have a 3,500 power force, 3,600 power force here in Manassas, and then probably a 1,600, if not more, power force up in the Shenandoah. And I will only have a 1,600 power force in Shenandoah and a almost 2,000 power force, right? So that means he can make a move on Richmond. He could attack Alexandria, probably win that battle, and then be on the shores of DC. But I have 4 elements of ships here, which means he has almost a 5% chance of crossing, which likely means he will not attempt that. Instead, what he'll probably try and do is come up here to Montgomery, Maryland, and then go around, right? But I have a full division here in the fort with a supply wagon, which means that he will be stalled here until he destroys this fort. Zone of control will prohibit him from moving on DC, and then I should be able to rail this core over to DC in 1 turn, and then I'll have roughly 1.5 core to defend whatever he has. So I feel pretty good about that, right? Because not only do we have that, we also have the defense force here, which is, whatever, but it's still a force. That all being said tells me that instead of him going on the attack, he'll have to peel off a large number of his forces here to try and relieve Richmond, which is what I want. As much as I would love to take Richmond in 62, I don't think it's realistic. Instead, what I'm hoping to do is peel off enough of these forces in the front that I then can move on Manassas, probably take forces from Harper's Ferry, send them down to Alexandria, move on Harper's Ferry, which will then unlock this west to east rail line that I desperately want. I can move down the Shenandoah, take Newmarket. Is that what this is? No, Strasburg. And get this rail line here, which is what I really want. And then I'll have from Alexandria to Strasburg my new defensive line, which I will consider a success in 62. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes, and more to follow. Although Kentucky is leaning towards us, the Union, they haven't flipped just yet. He probably by now knows I have Grant here, because even though he can't see what forces I have, since I have 69% loyalty, he should be able to see what generals I have at a minimum. So I'm guessing he knows Grant's here, so he knows an attack is coming from somewhere. It looks like he's postured to move north into Kentucky, and then perhaps into Paducah, I'm guessing. I mean, I don't see any other reason why he'd be right here. So I'm still going to go after Nashville. The reason being, I can split his forces in half, being in between him, but then also create a corridor to move down towards Atlanta, which will then force him to restructure his defense to respond to that. Do I think I'll get to Atlanta from Tennessee, from Nashville? Not necessarily. I still think what I'm going to do is use this river passage here and sail up and go after Atlanta that way. But this is a good way to force him to set up a defense along this very broad front, peeling troops off of hopefully New Orleans, hopefully off Atlanta, and that way I can go around the backside and take both New Orleans and Atlanta. We'll see. In anticipation of moving on Nashville, I'm going to put a couple of partisans and a couple of Unionists here so that I can launch the partisans off into this rail line, cut this rail line, and then put sea forces in between him and Beauregard and Johnston so that hopefully I can stop these two from uniting and taking them out piecemeal. We'll see. I always say we see because it always sounds really good on paper until things actually happen. Moving up military control, going to try and take these two areas here, as I mentioned previously. Got Seagull over here, he's going to train these guys up, and I have a lot of training to do, as you can see. So he'll be out here for probably a good several months, getting these guys up to line infantry. And the reason I find this important is for two reasons. One, this is really the bulk of my far west force, so he's really anchoring down my western flank. Granted, I have Sumner up here, but he has one division, and it's full of, I mean, it's not even a full division. It's got some volunteers, conscripts, whatever. It's got some light cavalry, well, mounted volunteers, really. So it's an okay force, but it's not something you want to rely on to hold down your flank. So this really is the bulk of my forces on my flank, so it's very important to hold down. But also, I can always move these guys back over into the interior and attach them later on to a corps or whatnot. I don't necessarily intend to use them as an attack on Fayetteville, which is down here. Instead, what I intend to do is take this area down here and then probably take Little Rock that way. If he pulls these guys back to defend Little Rock, then fine, I'll just move these guys forward, take Fayetteville, and do it that way. That's the plan. In the far west, by the way, even though I attacked him over at the fort, I pushed him out, but I don't think there's a battle. I think it was pretty short. Yeah, he got out of there pretty quick. So, far west. I'm going to move on here and then attack him here and get this back. And then down here, we're pretty well secure. We've got a 479 power. He's got 455. I don't think he's going to have enough to push us out of here. I'm going to build a depot here. And then I'm also bringing another general over to have two divisions. We got a whole bunch of reinforcements and whatnot coming down here. So we're pretty good. Pretty good there. Building a depot. And all is good on the far west front. We've got 97 morale, so using the card that cost us 2 morale to get, I think it was 800,000, paid off in my opinion because we're doing really well on morale. I don't know why we got so much morale. I guess we'll find out. I don't know if that's why. It doesn't tell us. It just says, hey, you got 3 from events. Like, okay. Probably the free land. Maybe that's what. Yeah. So plus 5 morale. Cool. Yeah. So we got 5 morale for that, even though we burned 2 on the money. For the money, so what I did was I built 6 more transports to again reinvest in my what would you call it? Stupid thing. I always forget the name of it. So the shipping lanes. So 6 merchants for the shipping lanes. And then I built a bunch of militia in the Eastern Theater. But then I also built a couple of these big boys in the Eastern Theater as well. That's not it. Where are you at? It won't let me collect them. It's annoying. So these guys I built in the Western Theater. The reason I like them is they have the cavalry element attached to them. So it allows me to have a 2 cavalry per division stack without having to build individual cavalry to accomplish that 2 cavalry per division. But for some reason it will not let me scroll down. So what I did do is I built some big boys. And what I mean by that is it was, I think, 2 or 3 infantry elements, a cavalry element, and then a 6-pound light artillery element. And the reason I did that is what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start transitioning into having artillery divisions. So currently what I have is these divisions where I've built individual artillery units and put them in there. But instead what I want is, see how this light artillery? That almost always means that's part of an actual infantry brigade, I guess you'd say. So when you build like these guys over here, see how it's a 6-pound light artillery? Now you can't take those, you can't pull those out. But what you can do is you can pull the individual artillery units that you built out. And so what I want is 2, maybe 3 light artillery elements per division, like here, having these here, maybe 1 or 2, probably 2, and then having an entirely division specific artillery stack. And that's pretty effective. They don't get fired on very often, because oftentimes, unless you have an infantry element in your stack, they will not get fired upon. They get fired upon last. So what you can have is you can have basically 15 artillery pieces firing every other attack turn on a particular division, and it's incredibly disruptive to their cohesion and very effective in battle. So that's what I'm going to start doing. I started that this turn. I'm trying to remember where I built them at. Where did I build them at? Anyways, I'll show you where I built them later. I can't remember where I built them. But, yeah. I built 2. They're pretty expensive. 110 cash. Here they are. These guys right here. So that 6-pounder is built in. You also get cavalry. So you build 2 of these guys. That's already half a division right there. And then you get them trained up by like McClellan, for example. And you got 3 line infantry, 1 6-pounder, 1 cavalry. Put 2 of those, build them together, and you already have a very robust division moving forward. So that's going to be the plan. That's what I'm going to start transitioning to. I built those right there. I'm going to start trying to do that, make that a priority of mine going forward. All right, we're going to run the turn and see if anything eventful happens. I was not able to engage any of his ships down here, going in here with the reds. So hopefully leaving, I will hit some of them. We'll see. Also down here, same thing. So, all right, let's run the turn. We are coming, Father Abram, 300,000 more from Mississippi's winding stream. Remember, again, my priorities are New Orleans, Richmond, Atlanta, Savannah. I'm trying to be realistic here. Charleston. All as much as I would love Charleston. So again, everything I'm doing is kind of guided towards those targets, but I have to do things in such a way that ensures that I can take those locations at opportune times. Right now, I can't sail down the Mississippi and take New Orleans. Probably, right? I mean, I might be able to, but I'm guessing he probably has it defended. I also I'm not positioned in such a way to go around the oceanic fronts and take New Orleans. So what I have to do is put myself in a situation where he has to reallocate forces away from New Orleans to protect, say, Atlanta. And then I can go after New Orleans. Because he's thinking the same thing. He knows I want to get New Orleans because it's a big moneymaker for him. And he's going to protect that until he feels like the priority is to protect Atlanta. Because the way that he's going to lose the game is losing Richmond and Atlanta. Okay, sorry, a little bit of a glitch there. Not a whole lot happened that turn. Let's see what the event is here. Kentucky joins the Union. Hey, here we go. All right. Kentucky officials announced today they were going to maintain their ties to the United States of America. The state has joined the Union. Some Kentucky citizens vow to continue supporting the South. All right. So now things have opened up. So what we're going to do... He's a volunteer. I don't know if I need this. Yeah, I do. Okay. So we're gonna move up. We're gonna move up on Munfordville. Take this with this river crossing. That'll give us a good defensive position. I think we're going to go ahead and move down here. So he's trying to defend. Oh, man. All right, so here's the deal. Excuse me. He's a corps commander, I believe. He's obviously a 3-star. He's a 3-star. I don't know which direction he's going. I have to hope that he's going after Paducah, because we're risking a lot here. I have to hope that he's thinking I'm going for Paducah, because I'm right here. And so what that would do is he would go north, go after that. I would land here, right in between him, right in the middle, which is kind of ballsy on my part because you get a force here and a force here. But in my mind, I'm like, they can't coordinate attacks on me, and I have the river crossings as defense, so I'm gonna get a pretty good defensive position on that. So I think I'm gonna do it because it's insane, and he wouldn't expect it. I'm guessing. and I'm basing this solely on the fact that he's got a 3-star here, 2-star, 3-star, and this opened up. Yeah, so this is going to be a little crazy. Hopefully this pays off. But I'm going to land here, go after Fort Donaldson, go after Nashville, and if I take these, I'm going to be right in between them with these nice defensive positions in between me, so it'll be nice, be very rewarding. All right, so we got enough here. Can probably move down this next turn. How's he doing with training? Beautiful. Okay, so that's the big advantage of having him out here. I can just rotate these guys. Okay, now where did his guy go? Where'd he go? He disappeared. His Indian guys. Huh. Alright, well. He disappeared far west. Nothing going on out here. Got too many guys out there. That's fine. Bring another general over anyways. Alright, there's that. Alright. So, any other notes? Before I go ahead and do my turn here, and then I'll come back on to show you what I was doing. And then we'll kick it over to Josh. Telegraph lines built. 82 money from our shipping lanes, so that's good. That's double what we were getting maybe even 6 months ago. That's awesome. Gain control of something. Oh, good. Okay, so these guys are here. Yeah. I want to take my partisans over here. Tear that up. All right. All right, no battles. Interesting. All right, let me go ahead and do the turns, and we'll be back. Okay, so as you saw, we were in the turn. This has finally gotten interesting. Kentucky's joined the Union. We got some money from the untouched war supply here, which is good. As you recall, early in the game, we were having difficulty triggering that event because we were burning through our war supply. We don't have that problem anymore, so our investments in infrastructure paid off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move, at least temporarily, Kearney up here in the Leesburg. That way he can support Hamilton and support Whipple. Now the downside to this is if he goes and attacks Alexandria and Kearney does not respond to the sound of guns, then he could probably take Alexandria given the numerical advantage of 3,000 to 2,000 with Robert E. Lee running things. However, Kearney's a pretty good corps commander. He's got a 4 strategic activation role, so I'm not too worried about it. But the reason I'm doing this is he's got 3,000 effectively power here with Stonewall Jackson, which usually if you're the Confederacy, you want to attack with Stonewall, right? So he puts Stonewall up here, and I have less than 2,000. So he sees him as isolated. I could see him attacking him if I don't go ahead and put somebody over here to support him. Now, what that does do is affects our ability to perhaps, possibly, go ahead and attack Richmond like we were thinking. I'm not taking that off the table, although I won't do it this early in 1862. I'll probably do it a little bit later. I'm still considering it, and once I feel like I can make that gamble, I'll go ahead and put the intel on Richmond to see what he has there. But we're going ahead and putting this core here to support this area here. I'm moving my transports. These right here. So we've got, 5? Yep, down to the shipping lanes. And then I've built the rest of the transports I can build. I don't think I can build anymore. I think I built all of the transports. Finally. I want to do it a little bit quicker. I would have rather got this done in like early 62 rather than mid 62, but still a pretty good success because now from here on out, we're going to make money off those transports. And they will make up the money I spent on them and much more throughout the game. So that's good. All right, so I'm going to move forward on Munfordville with these 2 divisions. This corps under Fremont. I should be okay because I don't think he's going to get that aggressive. I'm going to get here in 2 turns, so I'll be able to not only get here, but then probably start digging in before he made any sort of movement on me. I don't have 2 full divisions, which is my only concern here. So if he went red with like a really heavy force, he could probably push me out. But I'm okay with that because here's why. I've decided to go after Nashville. Ballsy, because I don't know what he has here, and he's entrenching. Here's my philosophy on this. So, and I also don't know what he has in Memphis. He's got Johnson up here, and then a corps here, and then he has another army here under Beauregard. So, it makes sense to me that he's got a corps here. It would be kind of weird to have your army commander forward, and then your corps behind you, right? Now, it's possible. Like, he could have a corps right here, and I'm about to get smoked. I am landing with 5 divisions in Nashville, so I feel somewhat comfortable if he has a corps here, just trying to duke it out. We'll see how that goes. But my thought here is a kind of boom or bust mentality. If I can take Nashville and then have a corps here in Humphreys, Tennessee, which I'm dropping 2 divisions here. And then I'm dropping 1 division here in Fort Donelson/Henry to try and take that this turn. If I can hold these 3 areas, I split him in half. Because Johnson, with this guy, the corps under him, he can't support Beauregard. So he's going to have to attack me in piecemeal fashion across rivers. He's not going to get support from these guys. And I'll be right in between them. Which then means and then on top of that, I'll have these rail lines, so he won't be able to rail around to kind of restructure his forces. And then my hope is I'll be in a situation at that point to pick off Beauregard. Maybe. We'll see. But that's the thought. If I went down to Memphis, which is definitely a better, I think, logistical target. And the reason I say that is I'm closer to Cairo. I have a better opportunity to maintain my logistic lines here. I could take these areas pretty quick along the Mississippi. But he would then be able to consolidate these forces and meet me and cut me off from whatever I'm going after. Here, I'm going to be like right in between them. I don't think he thinks I'm going to do this because it's pretty risky. And the safer play would either go after Paducah and move south or go after Memphis. So we'll see. After I do this, I want to talk to him and be like, what do you think I was going to do? Because I'll be curious to hear what he has to say. This could totally backfire. Like, I could totally lose like a ton of troops, lose all this morale that I've gained, and lose Grant. You know, but we're going to do it because that's what I do. All right, so that's that over there. And just so you can see what I'm landing with, I've got Grant with Rosencrantz, Pope, and Davis. And then my 2 divisions, which is, here's why I put Sherman over here, because I only have 2 divisions. So I put my 2 best generals over here. So 3-6 and then 3-2. Which actually I probably should put him 3 attack. Yeah. Now that I think about this. We're going to do that. That makes more sense. Sometimes this glitches out, so you always want to like reset the embarking whenever you move your army troops around. Alright. So he'll get there in 5 days. I think Grant's 6 days, so my hope is he'll also move to the Sound of Guns. He's going to be red-red, so hopefully he attacks upon landing. The reason I put him here instead of putting everybody here at one turn is I want to make darn sure he can't get out of there, right? So my goal is to isolate him and then attack him if I can when he tries to either get out of here or if he tries to move north, whatever. I want to have him isolated and get after him. And then I have Lion leading this here onto Donaldson. So 2 ironclads with Green, who also has this bonus to sieging forts, which also, by the way, Grant has to a lesser degree with shields here. So that's defending, but that's why I put him in here for the defending part. But I think Pope is the one who's got the bonus. Yeah, so he's really good for sieging. So we should be. He doesn't have a redoubt here or anything. So I feel like if we can successfully make landfall, we may be able to take the city in the first turn. If he doesn't have a core here. If he has a core here, it's going to be rough because we got 3 divisions and that's it. Hopefully the 2 comes over to help. But yeah. Landing some horses up here just to maintain logistical control of the rivers here to provide some supply. But also have supply wagons and riverine transports going that way. I think he might be moving on this area over here, Sullivan, Missouri. He could probably see that I'm building a depot here. I don't know if he can see what force I have here, but he's moving something over here. And when I moved down on him, what was it, like 2-3 turns ago? He had about a 200 power force down here still. I don't know if that's what that is. That might be bigger. I don't know. But I'm not going to lose it. So I'm going to try and hold. I'm going blue-red. I've got not a whole lot here. But, yeah. I thought I had some... Didn't I have some infantry here? Yeah, I got some infantry and artillery. So we'll see how that goes. Training over here in Springfield. I wasn't able to capture his Indians. I'm going to move back over to here. He's my far left flank. Far west, I moved down on him forward here with about 200 something. But then he moved some cavalry behind me. I think he's going after this fort here. So I'm just going to go after him. Try and take him out. I'm also moving some stuff forward here. And the goal is to eventually push him out, but I'm going to want a little bit more than this before I go after him. So we'll take care of that later. And then entrenching, I'll have 2 divisions here, approximately. He's got at least 1 division. I'm guessing, though, like he's probably got a lot of volunteers and whatnot, which I probably do too, so I can't talk. Yeah, I got some decent, actually pretty good troops here. So eventually I'm going to want to push out him. I do have this sharpshooter coming down as well. These are the guys I brought from the east. And I might even bring a few more if I need to going forward. But yeah, should get pretty interesting here. Let's see how the game goes. I haven't made as much progress as I would like, but I also have to bear in mind that I spent a lot of resources on infrastructure, transports, keeping my inflation down, not burning morale for cash until this last term that I did it. So it kind of makes sense that he's keeping pace with me for now. But the whole idea of what I did was in the next year, come 63, he's not able to keep pace with me. I'll be able to continue picking off his economic producing areas. And then I can really go for the jugular and really put the pressure on. That's the idea. So it's close right now, but hopefully in about a year, all of the things that I did in 61, early 62 pay off. And we're in a situation where he can't keep pace with me. I'm able to kind of move around more freely. Like, for example, be able to make the maneuvers over down towards Richmond and down towards North Carolina and Charlottesville, or rather Charleston, like I want to, which I can't do right now because he has this force that's threatening Washington. And hopefully that's the way it plays out here. But let's run. I'm going to send this over to Josh. He's going to run the turn, and we'll see how it goes.